now for a bit of Catholicism. There is no such thing as a female bishop. I am sorry to tell you this. Apparently, some people think that there can be, won't be, will be in the future. Okay, the answer is just no. That is the doctrine. It is just a negative. And so the story is absolutely hilarious. The National Cathedral Prayer Service for the inauguration, they decided to elect a female bishop to talk to Trump. He should have some mercy on some transgender children and immigrant families. That's what she said via a sermon, essentially. This woman that you're looking at here, her name is Marianne Edgar Budd, and she serves as a spiritual leader and the bishop to 86 Episcopalian congregations and 10 Episcopalian schools in Washington, D.C., and 4 in Maryland counties. Now, the reason why this makes me chuckle, and I'm sorry if we have Episcopalians in the chat right now, is because I lived in D.C. We literally just sold our place in D.C. A couple months ago. And my husband and I, when we first got married, lived there. And we'd walk around and we would just see these churches that just had trans flags on them. It was almost like it was a church for transgenderism. And I was like, what is this? They were always Episcopalian. And I was just wondering, what has happened in the Protestant Episcopalian church? I don't know how they got there. I'm not here to challenge that route. I'm just here to say that transgender children, I'm not going to say anything. I just got remonetized on YouTube. Let me bite my tongue. Anyways, here's what Bishop Marianne Edgar Budd said to Trump, who was sitting in the first pew.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President.
Go for it, girl.
Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
JD.
Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens.
JD Vance
or
right
have
now.
The proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
She's like, who's going to clean our toilets? It's like borderline racist what she's saying. But JD Vance just keeps cutting to his wife as if he's on the Office show and looking for the camera. He's just like, where's the camera? Is this really happening? Camera glance. Okay, what's going on here? Is this real? And Tiffany Trump and Laura, by the way, is trying not to laugh in the background. And you guys know that's why I couldn't be there, because I am just, you can't bring me to these. I would have just burst out laughing. That's just absolutely hilarious. Anyways, I don't know. I just feel like if you're out there and you're Protestant, how did this happen? Questioning that. If you're Episcopalian, how did you get there? And, what is it about female bishops in particular that can be objected to? Well, one of the things I was having a discussion with, and again, I am not the authority in the church whatsoever, but I was saying to someone else who I was trying to kind of get over to the Catholic side, they were talking about this issue of now, this female leadership in the church. And I said to them, one of the reasons, and you could kind of talk about what happened in politics when women got the right to vote, and I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying there you could draw some parallels, but women were naturally wired to be more emotional. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. It's why we're so great with children. And it's why we are so great in certain situations. It's because we are literally more emotional than men. That is just a fact. That is just a biological fact that we have more compassion. But when your compassion can be hijacked, because rather than applying that to my children, I'll do anything for my children to protect my children. And you start applying it to a transgender person knocked on the church and they're listen to their story. It's so human. Shouldn't we just start accepting transgender children? That compassion, like I said, is now being hijacked, and I believe being hijacked for tremendous evil. And so I think that once you start seeing female bishops, you can just go ahead and open the doors to the LGBTQIA plus agenda. That's my viewpoint. And everything that she is saying is just stands in complete antithesis to Catholic doctrine. And so I am certain that some people will disagree with that. That is absolutely fine. But Trump just, I think, signed an executive order so we can officially say now that there's only two genders. I think that is now official. It's the law. It's the law of the land. Anyways, Trump wrote this on Truth Social regarding that moment. He waited, he bit his tongue. He's a better man than me. The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left, hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It's a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She's not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. So there you have it. I know we're going overtime here, but I also want to, oh God, maybe I should wait because I feel like I want to go long on this. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to get into the Ross Ulbricht thing because we should really talk about that as like a major point of an episode, not something that we're skimming through quickly because we're running out of time. And so we'll bump Ross Ulbricht to tomorrow. I guess we'll get into some of your comments. You guys saying, let's read some of your comments and some of your questions. Let me scroll down and see who is up first. Regarding Blake Lively, David Jean says, Blake Lively and her lawyers asked the court to put a gag order against Justin Baldoni, and his lawyers have reported. That's being reported right now by TMZ. Wow, the news just broke. Yeah, I imagine that he's going to want to probably gag that because that is just insane. I mean, it makes sense. It's the more the public knows, the more ruinous it is for her career. And the court should immediately shut that down, given the fact that she played this in the press first, okay? The New York Times, somehow, within hours of her filing something that was supposed to remain private, according to the Californian practices, they had an inside scoop, not only an inside scoop, but they fully, and this is why he is suing them for $400 million, just took out everything that could have meaningfully contextualized her allegations and not made him look like a villain. So I'm sorry. You get what you ask for in life. I hope that they completely shut that down. The court should shut that down. Jessica Wickers writes, Wendy called out Beyonce. And this might have something to do with what happened to her. Wendy showed a clip of Beyonce on an Australian show with what seemed to be a fake baby bump. I remember that baby bump thing, and people thought that I never subscribed to that conspiracy theory. I love a good conspiracy theory, but I think that she just maybe like sat weird or something. I've been pregnant for so long. I've seen everything look weird. I don't know. And I can't imagine that Beyonce is the author of what's happening. I don't think she's that petty over something like a baby bump. Could be. Good to know. I'll look into it. Marcy writes, Candace, on 2/15/24, Jared Kushner discussed Gaza's waterfront property, which is very valuable. Trump just made the comment of Gaza needing to be rebuilt in a different way in a great location. Thoughts? My thoughts are that it has always been an operation that is steeped in corruption. It was never about what happened on October 7th. You can find this due to videos of Bibi Netanyahu extensively saying that they needed to hit Palestinians so hard that there could be no way that they could return. That is what has happened since October 7th. If you look at what's happening in the court case against Bibi Netanyahu, who is being tried, he says she couldn't show up for his trial because he apparently has prostate cancer. But if you look into that case and you recognize that what took place on the day of October 7th is corruption, and you look into the history of Israel and their extensive history with false flag attacks, not just in America with the USS Liberty, but also against British people, and against Americans with the Lavon affair, we have a right to ask questions. And apparently, I just think that there was always a plan, and people that have been pushing this, the Zionist lobby in the media, could potentially even be invested already in that property. They could have made those investments before October 7th even happened. They're talking about how valuable the waterfront property could be where people live. And then suddenly, oh, what do you know? Every building has been demolished. It was an appropriate response, and now it needs to be rebuilt. And completely ridiculous. Roberto Zar writes, a privileged woman like Blake will never understand how real sexual assault victims are affected by this, and it shows. Yes, she is harming real victims, and that is why I am here to expose this, because I am a villain of the Me Too movement. I really have hated this movement from its inception, and I think it's gross and it's disgusting. And I think women using these terms because they want attention or they want revenge on a guy for something they should have to face some sort of a real penalty. And I'm glad that penalty can simply be the persecution perception of the public. Abigail writes, this has ruined my favorite movie, Just Friends. Yeah, that's a rom-com with Ryan Reynolds. I have never seen Just Friends, but Ryan Reynolds just gives me that vibe. Like he just, again, it was just a little petty maneuver of him joining Taylor Swift and marching and unfollowing Justin Owens, who she dated for 5 years and he was good friends with. I just went, you're like a child, again, Arrested Development, and now I find you to be annoying. I mean, writing someone into a movie so you can get revenge. Like Ryan Reynolds is like 48 years old, guys. He's 48 years old. Like the teenage drama has to stop at some point. Lastly, we have Garrel. Oh no, a couple more. Garrel writes, further to the point about Nice Pool. Nice Pool is played by Gordon Reynolds, and guess who is mentioned as a special thanks in the credits of It Ends With Us? You guessed it, Gordon Reynolds. Okay. My producer is writing a note that during It Ends With Us closing credits, Blake thanked, Gordon Reynolds. Oh my gosh, I get this now. So apparently, yeah, during the closing credits, Blake decided to thank Gordon Reynolds, which is actually just Ryan Reynolds' alias in the movie Nice Pool. So it's basically them thinking they're being really funny and bullying. And she's basically saying thank you for bullying Justin Baldoni and in the movie Deadpool, because Gordon Reynolds is actually just Ryan Reynolds playing Justin Baldoni, which is really disgusting. I just find them to be really gross people now. Lastly, the Green Revan writes, Candace doing the Trump voice is everything. The first female version I've heard, and everyone has a Trump voice. That is true. Thank you. Thank you very much. Guys, reminding you, actually, I'm telling you, I don't think I've reminding you of anything. You asked and we delivered on our Standis cup. Everything is fake and gay. You can pre-order that now. It will be shipping in February, so just expect some delays on that shipment. We decided to go with purple. And to be clear, YouTube, when we say fake and gay, we're not making fun of homosexuals. We are doing the old school meaning of the word gay here, and recognizing that everything in this world right now is definitively fake and gay. Again, not anything that we are saying against homosexuals. Homosexuals should buy this cup. Everyone should buy this cup. Heterosexuals, homosexuals, every person who recognizes that things are getting extremely weird in our society. So you can go ahead and you can head to clubcandace.com to secure yours today. Limited edition one on our race here to 4 million subscribers. If you're watching this, by the way, be sure to subscribe. Subscribe. I don't know why I'm pointing as if, where would it be? Let me look. I can actually see where it is. No, you can't see it. It's down below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our goal is to get to 4 million. Maybe we can do it before I go on maternity leave. Yeah, I think we can probably do it.